Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is a screencast-o-matic presentation and recording for the warm-ups that coincide with the first half of the cycle for the new cycle that we're on for Civics and Government. Please remember, for full credit you have to copy down the question and the answer here in full, and remember to format your content in a different colored font. Let's go ahead and get started. For Monday and Tuesday, what exactly is the Cabinet of the Executive Branch, and what special characteristics and influences does it have on government? Please take a few moments to copy down the question, and then we'll proceed with the answer. So basically, the Cabinet of the Executive Branch is more so the advisory body, or the advisory board, made up of executive departments in the executive branch. A few of the key cabinet positions that we're going to focus on this lesson are Department of State, Department of Agriculture, Department of Education, Department of Health and Human Services, Department of Homeland Security, and more. In terms of organization, each department specializes, too, in expertise on topics. With their in-depth focus on these topics, they can of course report back to the President and the Vice President on key policy agenda issues, and things that of course ought to be dealt with. In a sense, the Cabinet has many roles. They provide the President with key advice on policies and executive powers on topics, and maybe encourage them to take on different roles or actions depending on the situation at hand. They oversee the regulations on specific topics and the laws that are being enforced by the executive branch, as far as implementation and execution. They also, of course, can define and shape a president's policy agenda in a big way by advocating for new laws and policy ideals. And, of course, let us not forget that the Cabinet is also a key part of the line of succession for the President of the United States. Keep in mind that every single Cabinet member is part of that line and could possibly assume the presidency. Let's go ahead and move on to the next question today. From Thursday and Friday, what are some key characteristics of the executive agencies and bureaucracies? What do they do in the executive branch and greater government? In this lesson, we looked at executive agencies and also independent agencies that are associated with the executive branch. We'll give you a few more seconds to copy down the question before we go into the answer. So basically, executive agencies are semi-autonomous government groups that oversee the implementation of laws in our country. In terms of organization, there are several types of executive agencies that exist. There's executive, of course, there's independent, and there's even corporate. By design and function, they implement their powers differently in the executive branch and also in our country. Executive bureaucracies and agencies take on different roles too. They're essentially created by Congress to address concerns that go beyond the scope of ordinary legislation or laws. Also, these agencies are responsible for keeping the government and the economy running smoothly. Additionally, these agencies and bureaucracies deal with government operations, the economy, and regulatory oversight to make sure that laws are in fact being followed and abided by. And additionally, their appointments may come from a president directly, but they also are tied to the executive branch in a big way as far as what they do. So even though they have some autonomy and freedom to do what they want to do on certain topics and domains of issues, they essentially are still a key part of the executive branch. And you'll understand that more too as we talk about each individual executive agency and bureaucracy. So there you guys have it, the answers to the questions of the day. Thank you very much for tuning in, and good luck with completing the rest of the corresponding lessons that coincide with these warm-ups.